She was the star of the 1955 science fiction film This Island Earth. But the thing is, that was after 14 years in the film industry, with very little acting being done during that time. After she signed with Warner Brothers at a young age, her career was put on hold when she met Howard Hughes. It was only after her relationship with Howard ended that this beauty was able to carve out an acting career in movies as well as television. Today I present a 7-minute, totally incomplete biography of Faith Domergue. She was born on June 16, 1924, or 25, in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was adopted by Annabelle Wilmette and her new husband Leo Domergue when she was 6 months old and given the name Faith Marie. She wasn't aware that she was adopted until around 1997. When she was just 2 years old, during the Great Depression, the family moved to California. I was just a child when my foster mother put me into a speech program for children who had speech defects, and I lisped very badly. Well, when my speech teacher finally realized that I could recite, she realized that I could act as well, and so did my foster mother, so I did all kinds of children's theatrical productions. For a while I was with the Bliss Hayden Theater, and later went under contract. When she was a sophomore at University High School, her mother met an agent and he suggested that this beautiful child should be an actress. Her mother wasn't interested, so Faith took it upon herself to call Henry Wilson at the Zeppo Marx agency. It was through Wilson that she was signed by Warner Brothers. Jack Warner, however, insisted on a new name. As she said later, Jack Warner was too stupid to pronounce Faith Domergue, so he had my name changed to Faith Dorn. Her time at Warner wasn't long. Her only film appearance for the studio was an uncredited part in Blues in the Night in 1941. Life changed for the 17-year-old girl when she met 36-year-old millionaire Howard Hughes. Howard quickly bought out both her Warner Brothers and agency contracts, had her go to school, take acting lessons, and go back to her real name. He promised to make her a star and, oh yeah, promised to marry her. Suddenly, my professional and emotional future were completely in his hands, Domergue later recalled. Faith's family was okay with this because Howard was rich. He gave her father a job and bought the family a house. The problem was, of course, Hughes was constantly having flings with many of Hollywood's prettiest women. These include Yvonne DiCarlo, Ava Gardner, Olivia de Havilland, Hedy Lamarr, Ginger Rogers, and others. This led to the incident that was portrayed in the film The Aviator, in which, in a jealous rage, Faith slams her convertible into the side of a car that contains Ava Gardner and Howard. As for Howard's promise of a film career, it was delayed for several reasons, including World War II, in which Howard got involved with the war effort. Finally, after much begging by her, he got her a film. In 1946, production started on Vendetta. The film was a nightmare for Faith, going through problem after problem with at least 4 directors, various writers, many reshoots, and Hughes's near-fatal plane crash in 1946. The film ultimately took 4 years and cost $3.5 million to make. Faith said, "I was told he spent $5 million publicizing me, but the film wasn't properly released. It was all wasted." During that time, she had married and divorced bandleader Teddy Stauffer. As soon as they were divorced, she married Argentine film director and screenwriter Hugo Fraganesi and had a baby. In 1950, she was able to make a film with Robert Mitchum for RKO called Where Danger Lives. She finally had 2 films in theaters 9 years after being signed by Warner Brothers, but she had had enough. She said that she totally lost enthusiasm of being a star and never got it back. "I wanted to bail out totally from the industry because I did all I could do and left for South America with my husband Hugo. But it is important to remember she was paid for all those years. I didn't mind being under contract to Howard. I studied, got married, lived in South America, and had a baby, and got a weekly salary all the while." Howard Hughes and RKO seemed to have no interest in her at that point, and she was just trying to wait out her contract. "I sat around RKO for 2 years doing nothing. Finally, I was loaned out to Universal for The Duel at Silver Creek." She was able to get released from her RKO contract to be with her husband in England, where he was making a film. When she returned to the US, she signed a 2-picture per year deal with Universal. What did she think of RKO? "So I really have a lot to thank them for," she said. "But now my contract is over, and I'm going to try to show what I can do as an actress. I'll be sultry if the part calls for it, but that's not the only emotion I can project. Along with her film work, she began to appear on television, and she had a hope for TV. In that way, the public will hear someone say my name and learn how to pronounce it. It was in 1955 that she made the film she is best known for today, Cult of the Cobra, This Island Earth, It Came From Beneath the Sea, and The Atomic Man. 14 years after signing a contract with Warner Brothers, and she was finally a film star. She would later say that This Island Earth was the favorites of the films she made. While watching Steven Spielberg's E.T. with her daughter, they were thrilled to see E.T. watching a clip from the film. She said it was very exciting. Faith kept on working until the late 1970s before she retired from the business. She was divorced from Frego Nessi after 11 years and was now married to Pelo Casa. Her marriage to Pelo seemed to be right, as they remained together until his death in 1992. It was on April 4th, 1999 that Faith Domergue passed away from cancer in Santa Barbara, California. She was 74 at the time and was survived by 2 children, Dana and John, and 2 grandchildren. You might wonder what her thoughts were about her time with Howard Hughes. Well, she said, "I don't talk much about Howard Hughes. I think it's quite sad that it's the negative side of someone's life that is so interesting to the public, and not the fact that he was one of the great contributors to aeronautics in this country since the beginning of the century. All my memories of Howard are good ones. He was a nice man and made great contributions to his country. His life has been so maligned, and that is sad to me." And one last note. Faith, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. Everywhere I went on the internet, people pronounced it differently, so I did my best guess. I think the way I pronounced it was the way it was pronounced in the film The Aviator.